3 of University Rush on the Score Television Network. Kevin Mickleborough will be speaking to us if there are any flags in this game. And we are prepared to get underway. Homecoming at McMaster. They ruined Westerns last week. We'll see if Laurier can do the same thing. Back to receive the kick is Jesse Lumsden, and Lumsden's got a seam. Still on his feet across the 30 up to about the 33-yard line, where McMaster's offense will take over under the tutelage of John Behe.
Nice gain by Jesse here on the kickoff here. 25 yards off the first kickoff. It's always nice to see on the first play of the game.
Jesse is averaging 25.5 on his returns. Looking at John Behe, and though the numbers aren't too special, he's done a solid job for McMaster.
And one thing you like is 4 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. As long as you have that ratio as a positive one, you're happy.
Completion to Vaughn Swart to start the game for McMaster. So we saw it last week, Behe coming out passing on the first play. We see it again.
That's right.
Let's have a look at the starting offense for McMaster. Fabio Felice at the left tackle, O'Meara in at the right tackle. As for the backs and receivers, we mentioned Vaughn Swart already a reception. We'll see a lot of Kyle Peer and also Jesse Lumsden in that halfback spot. So it's second down and short for the McMaster Marauders. Peer, the lone setback, he'll take the handoff, and he is met, but spins off a tackle, and with that extra effort, looks to have grabbed the first down.
I'll tell you, that's all you need here for the McMaster Marauders. Keep punching the ball forward for a first down.
Let's have a look at the Golden Hawks defense. Here's the defensive line. Kyle O'Meara, Matt Kruchek will anchor that line at the tackle spot. As for the linebackers, Rohan Thompson, 2 years ago, was a OUA first-team All-Star. As for the backs, David Agro at the rover spot will anchor that defense. First down, McMaster. Behe on the rollout, got plenty of time. Looks to the wide sidelines, and it is complete for another first down. And it's Vaughn Swart again.
Nice throw here by John Behe. Nice rollout and good protection by the offensive line. Here he is rolling out to his right. There's great protection. No one in front of him. Sets himself and just delivers a strike to Vaughn Swart to the outside. Nice job by the offense here by McMaster.
Swart 9th in the CIS in receiving yards, and he's already added to that with 2 receptions on 3 offensive plays by McMaster, and Coach Marshall's got to be pleased the way his teams come out on offense.
That's all you want as an offense here. You want to move the ball right from the beginning, and Vaughn Swart must be really happy to be touching the ball already twice in only 3 plays.
Jesse Lumsden, the lone setback as Peer comes out of the backfield. Behe will look to Peer, who's wide open. He makes one man miss, and he is across the 40 down to the 38-yard line of Laurier.
We talked about it just before the game. Coach Marshall wanted to have Kyle Peer involved as a receiver this week a little bit more instead of just using him as a running back. And here he is coming out of the backfield, early motion, sending him out to the left side of the offense. Quick stop to the left. Here he is, no one around him, and then turns it upfield and makes a couple moves for a first down.
That's his 4th reception of the year. 3 came against Western. So in the first 3 games of the year, Kyle Peer, who led the OUA in multi-purpose yards last year, 700 receiving, 700 rushing, finally gets some work out of the backfield. We've got a flag down on the play. Behe looking for Sean Postma, tries to one-hand it, can't come down with it.
Now that'll be a procedure call here on the left-hand side of the offense for McMaster. There was no end lined up. I believe the tight end, Sean Postma, was on the right side, and Chris Rankin thought he had an end already on his side of things. So let's hear what the call is from referee Mickleborough.
Well, it looks like it's getting McMaster, and Rohan Thompson is saying, march him back.
Procedure, no end, McMaster. Declined, second down.
Oh, he's not marching him back. He's saying, give us second down.
2nd and 10. As a defense, it's kind of nice to, it's a position that you don't mind being in. If you give them 1st and 20, although it is 20 yards to the first down marker, it's an extra down that you have to put to make that happen. So the defense here says we can hold them off on 2nd and 10.
So second down, 10 to go for the McMaster Marauders. From the 38 of Laurier. Play action to Lumsden. Behe, plenty of time again, looking deep on the corner to Vaughn Swart, and he can't come up to him. can't come up with a catch despite wearing the old school carpenter gloves.
That's right. That was a great job by David Agro to come over top on that play. He had the post corner move off of the play action here from the Mac offense. Here it is in the backfield. Jesse Lemson on the fake. John stays strong in the pocket, delivers the ball to the outside. Great spot, but nice play from Dave Agro coming in over top and tapping that ball out of Vaughn Swartz's hands.
David Agro is a big-time player. 7 career interceptions, and he's got 3 already this year, behind only one man in the CIS and the OUA, and that's Brandon Little, who we'll see on the McMaster defense. In is Mike Ray, attempting a 41-yard field goal. Ray, and it's blocked. He will attempt to pick it up, but regardless, we talked about the defense, but the special teams comes up big for the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks.
That's going to be great energy for the Laurier Golden Hawks right here at the beginning of the game. You know, they had the ball driven down on them a couple times in the last few plays. Here's Mike Ray trying to kick the ball, but it gets blocked here by Ryan Brown, number 21 for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Good thing enough for Chris Rankin to jump on the ball. Here it is from the end zone cut. Just all you need is one hand on that ball, and it pops forward. So great job by the special teams on Laurier's side.
So Jamie Partington will take over for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Great field position at the 46, and he'll hand it off to Derek Medler. He's got some room. Medler across the 40, cuts back down to the 33-yard line, and we talked about him in the opening, and he just showed his talent right there.
That's right. There's a big hole for him to go through on the line of scrimmage right here. And here's what he sees. Cut back lane to the left side, huge hole, and then he just lights it up to the outside. Great block by the receivers downfield as well. Great job trying to make things happen.
Holding.
We got a hold, though, on the play, as Kevin Mickelborough noted. So looks like it's after.
Holding call.
So it's first down yardage, and then they get a hold added on after. So we're back to the 43-yard line on the positive run by Medler in his first year from Kitchener, Ontario, 5'9", 190. Medler will see the ball again, and he is wrapped up, this time nowhere to go.
Talked about it earlier with Coach Tuffy Knight calling the plays. I think we're going to see the Laurier Hawks running the ball a fair bit this afternoon.
All right, let's have a look at the starting offense for Laurier. Well, we got a chance across the offensive line, some big fellas indeed. The lightest man on this line is Ryan Jeffrey at 270 pounds. As for the backs and receivers, Chris Scott out wide along with Joel Wright, who is a fabulous freshman in his own right. Partington will throw his first ball, looking for Joel Wright, and it is incomplete, so it looks like they'll have to bring in the punting squad.
John Chard here, number 35, usually plays safety for the Marauders defense in man coverage on this little package that the Laurier offense brings in. So great job here by the defense on McMaster's side.
There's a look at Tuffy Knight, a long-time coach with the Waterloo Warriors. In fact, is the winningest coach in CIS history with 153 wins as a head coach. And last night, Larry Haler got his 150th, the only 2 men in CIS history to be over 150 wins. Ed Becker into punt. High spiraling kick. Rick Andretti will let it bounce and gets out of bounds, and that'll ham McMaster deep in their own zone.
Ed Becker's kick taken by Rick Andretti.
Ed Becker here is actually talking with a couple of the Laurier players before the game. You know, he's got some experience at that position. He's been playing there for 5 years now. He does both jobs in kicking and punting. And, you know, there's nothing else you want from a punter than put the other team's offense on their own 5-yard line in the beginning of the game. So great job.
Here's our first chance to go down to Elliott with an injury update. Elliott?
Number 21 who blocked the kick for Laurier, Ryan Brown, only into the game right now because Ian Logan, the regular starter at that position, injured his thumb or wrist. He's icing it down. He says he'll probably be back, but it worked out well for Laurier.
Kyle Peer making an adjustment to the ball. Didn't see it released from Behe, and he was open.
He was open, but at the same time, John couldn't hang on for much longer. He had pressure coming down, and you know, he had to let go of the ball. He tried to put it on the spot where Kyle Peer could make a play on it, and he almost did. You know, tried to turn around. The ballpark turned on the catch. Not always an easy thing to do.
We talked to Coach Marshall about getting the ball to Kyle Pierre in the passing game, and they've already looked to him a couple times.
That's right. And Kyle Pierre, if you remember, if you saw any of the games last year for the Marauders, we certainly used Kyle Pierre as a receiver many a time. So I think it's nice for Kyle to be used as more than just a running back.
Behe back to pass again, going deep for Postma. And Rohan Thompson on the coverage, and we've got a flag down. I don't know if I saw much there.
Well, there was a little bit of a pushing between both Postma and Rohan Thompson. It'll be interesting to see whether it's an offensive or defensive penalty here.
Thompson 6'1", 205 in his 5th year from Mississauga, Ontario.
Looking at Coach Marshall, you'd think that they're going back in for the offense. So.
Yeah, and he gave it to Rohan Thompson. We'll listen in, though.
The pass interference. Waterloo, or Laurier, first down, McMahon.
So there it is. Laurier getting called on it, and we saw it from here. A little jostling between the two.
There was. Here's John delivering a nice ball. Nice touch on that. But here's Postma being pushed by Rohan Thompson. Maybe a little bit of an acting job here by the big tight end for Mac, but it worked out for them. They've got a first down, so that's all that matters.
Kind of feel for Rohan Thompson on that play. Behe. Oh, and it's picked off. The big fella's got it, and he is gone.
Justin Chego coming in for the huge pick here, right down at the beginning. Wow, this was unbelievable. 6'2", 241 out of Belleville. Just jumps up, gets the ball thrown right into his hands, and athletic enough to catch it in his lap. Here you see him at the left side of your screen, 91 standing tall. Behe delivers a quick ball, puts his big paws on that, and reels it in, chugs it down for the touchdown.
Well, we talked about their defense, and a huge play for Laurier early. And they're up 6-0 pending the extra point as Ed Becker comes on to attempt it.
Talk about an athletic play here by the big defensive end.
Becker up and good, and Laurier jumps out to a 7-0 lead over John Behe and the McMaster Marauders at homecoming in Hamilton. Be back in a flash. Justin Shackle's first career interception is a big one as he takes it back for 6.
That was quite the athletic play here by the big defensive end from Laurier out of Mora High School in Belleville. Great job to put his Laurier Golden Hawks up by 7.
The shackles are off Justin. There's a big pop on the return. Chris Rankin, but let's go back to Toronto for an update.
Thanks, Tim. Well, we'll get you right back to the game after we head overseas for an update from the Belfry. Now let's check out Sergio Garcia. He and his partner Lee Westwood remain undefeated as they defeat the USA pairing of Stuart Sink and Jim Furyk. Play is finished for the day. USA and Europe are tied at 8.
Thank you very much, Caroline, for that update. Now, Behe started quickly, completing 3 balls, but since then he struggled, Ben.
Yeah, he's been 0 for 5 in the last 5 attempts, 1 interception for 7 points. So let's hope that John kind of collects himself and gets things done.
He does. Conrad Clokey with the reception and the play action setting up that, Ben.
Great vote of confidence by Coach Marshall to go back to and ask of his quarterback to go for a throwing play right off the bat. And once again, you know, the running game from McMaster in the past has been successful. You see here, it brings the linebackers up. Now John's playing like a 5th-year player right now. He stands tall in the pocket, delivers the ball. I'm sure that that interception is already long gone in his mind.
Well, his defense doing the job for Coach Jeffries. There's a pitch out wide. Here looking for a cutback lane, finds one. And he is across midfield to the Laurier 52.
They'll be close to a first down. Great run by Kyle Pierre. You have a toss action to the right side here on this play. Here he is, Kyle Pierre in the backfield. He runs to his right. Great job by the O-line. Look at that hole. A full Mack truck could have gone through there. Even I could have run through there. That's how nice of a hole it was. Great job.
So they're going to bring out the change, the measure for that first down. And as we mentioned off the top, Kyle Pierre, first in the OUA, second in the CIS in rushing 57 behind Neil Hughes of the Regina Rams. And as you can see by the measurement, first down, Marauders.
Great job by the O-line here, and it'll be interesting to see what Coach Marshall tries to do to get his team back and trying to, back from that 7-point deficit. They've been moving the ball well so far. They stopped themselves earlier in the game, and then obviously throwing a pick for 7 never helped. So let's see what they do here.
McMaster 7 first downs already, but it's Laurier who's up 7-0. 8:24 remaining in the first quarter. First down, 10 to go. Empty backfield. Behe sprinting out. He'll pull it down. He's got lots of room to roam. Looking for a block from Von Swart, and then does the wise thing and just gets out of bounds.
Great job here by John. He gets around the corner there. He's clean. He's got green grass all over in front of him. He just tucks it in and goes for a first down. Here he is rolling out to his left. Great job on the corner by both Jesse Lumsden and Fabio Felice. And John just takes off downfield, trying to get the first down.
It's his 9th rush of the year. Through 80 at 61 yards, a 7.6 average, and 1 touchdown that we saw in our opening where he lowered his shoulder and ran over a Western DB in a game last week.
And he's only 180 pounds, but he's pretty athletic, so you got to watch out for him.
Behe will hand the ball off here, and he's got a big hole through that right side again, rumbling, bumbling down to the 20-yard line, and another first down for the Marauders. Once again, Kyle Pierre going in for a first down. Here it is. Celebrating his exploits from last weekend at Western, diving over the goal line a couple of times. Great job by Kyle Pierre both last week and so far today. His 6 touchdowns are second in the CIS behind Calgary's James Elliott, and he really did have a big game for the Marauders last week.
Yeah, he certainly did have a great job. He's been really good for the MAC offense over the years, as his brother Ryan, who's quarterback for Laurier Golden Hawks, usually out with an injury today.
Lumsden on the ball carry. He is wrapped up at the 11-yard line, and we talked about Ryan Pierre is supposed to be a battle of 2 of the 3 Pierre brothers in the OUA, and he is out after tearing his ACL and MCL in last week's game.
That's right, against the U of T Blues at Laurier's homecoming last weekend. Ryan tried to make a couple of things happen offensively, and for those of you who do know Ryan, you'll agree in the fact that he's really athletic, a quarterback, makes things happen with his legs, and on a broken play, Ryan just tried to run downfield and trying to cut back to make a few more yards of a gain, and he blew his knee out. So unfortunately for Ryan, but his hopes are high that he'll be back next year and good to go for another Laurier season.
He back to pass under pressure, and he is looking for a spot, and he will dump it off. It's Kyle Pierre with the reception, the cutback, and he will get about 2 yards out of a very, very long drawn-out play.
Yeah, it certainly was. This is as much scrambling for the McMaster Marauders as you've seen over a total of 5 years in the past, here in one play. Here he is, fake again, play action in the backfield, and he just gets away from people and makes things happen. He's like, am I going to go left? No, nothing going. And then Kyle Pierre here turning around, making himself available for his quarterback. Great job by Kyle. That's where you see the experience of an older running back like that and coming out and helping out his young fellow quarterback.
So Behe gets a couple yards out of that play, but it is still second down. Play action again. Again, he'll sprint out, looking to the end zone for Von Swart. Touchdown, McMaster.
Nice throw by John. And nice route by Von Swart.
Seen a lot of play action.
Well, that's right. I was just going to echo you on that, and I mean that's where the offense of McMaster starts. You've run the ball so well in the last few weeks. Try to do something this week with it. John comes around clean, but he's thinking of running. No, he sees Vaughn open in the corner. He just delivers a strike to him for a touchdown. Anything travels faster than legs, and it's a ball, so you might as well just throw it down there to the guy who's open.
Von Swart with his 2nd touchdown of the year. Mike Ray up and good. We are tied at 7. Homecoming at McMaster, and Vaughn was a big part of your offense last year here at Mac, and he's been a big part of these 2 young quarterbacks getting the ball.
That's right. I mean, I was speaking with Vaughn early this week, and even he was saying about, you know, play calling has been a little different with Jesse Lumsden and Kyle Peer running the ball in the backfield, but, you know, he's really happy with the fact that the young quarterbacks here can throw the ball. Here's the action on the linebackers. You know, they get sucked into that fake, then John comes clean to the outside, and Vaughn, with his experience and his size as a receiver, can just get away from the defensive back, from Laurier, number 25, Stephen Flake, and all he has to do at that point is catch the ball in the end zone.
That's why coaches want balance on offense. The pass sets up the run sets up the pass.
That's it. And you know, if you're lucky enough to have a really balanced and team like that, you can pick and choose whatever you want to do as the day goes.
Jeff Keane and Derek Medler back to receive the Mike Ray kickoff as we are tied at 7 in the Steel City. Medler trying to take it on a hop. He handles it cleanly at the 20, trying to make a move. He breaks 1 tackle, strung out well by the McMaster special teams, and he will be dropped inside the 10-yard line of Laurier.
Take a look here. Josh Armstrong with a big hit on this kickoff return.
So after being picked off for a touchdown, Behe and the McMaster Marauders offense responds 6 plays, 82 yards, and the 9-yard touchdown pass to that man, Von Swart.
That's important to be able to take the ball from way down in your end, walk it all the way across the field for a score. That shows really good confidence by an offense that's running under John Behe.
Well, with 5 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first quarter, this is Laurier's 2nd possession of the football game. Looks like Medler's wrapped up. Let's have a look at Mac's starting defense in this football game. And the defensive line, Big Daddy Colin Shanahan, one of the defensive tackle spots, and Mike Gow on the end. As for the backers, we've got Furtado out and Francis in, along with Botterill and Mary, who are great backers. Brandon Little, mentioned him off the top, leads the CIS in pickoffs with 5 on the year. Hardington will hand the ball off again, and there he is. I mentioned him, Colin Shanahan, and he's in on the tackle that'll force the punt team out for Laurier.
That's right, and Colin Shanahan comes in here. He puts his hand on the running back, Derek Medler, first, but he's got a lot of support from his linebackers, both Ray Marius and Chris Francis, to jump on top. Here it is from the offense. Down as the nose tackle here. There he is, getting his paws on number 36, Medler, and then 4, 5, 6 red shirts coming on top of that to make sure the running back doesn't go anywhere.
Ed Becker back in. This will be his 2nd punt of the day. First punt went 34 yards. A 4-time OUA 2nd team All-Star, the bridesmaid, back to punt.
Well, it was hard playing behind Mike O'Brien from Western, who is extremely competent as a punter.
Chris Rankin on the return. McMaster will have good field position. We're tied at 7 in Hamilton, Ontario. Back after these. Close to 7,500 here at Les Prince Field, and we already saw a penalty on that return that gives Mac fantastic field position. A personal foul, 15 yards, has it at the 29. What do you go for here?
Well, if I had anything to do with play calling at this point, I think I'd like to go for a home run ball for the short side. But again, I'm not always right.
Well, when you got a running back like that, why not hand it off? Let's go down to Elliot Friedman, who has an interesting story. Elliot.
Tim, Kevin McNeil, number 50 for Wilfrid Laurier, is starting in place of Tom Annette. A couple of weeks ago, after they lost to Western, he showed up for practice 2 days later, complaining of a sore neck. They sent him into a clinic to get it looked at, and he was immediately sent to London, where he had an operation to fuse 2 of his vertebrae together. They said if the operation hadn't been done, paralysis was possible. He's now back at home in Sault Ste. Marie, and the prognosis is fine, though he won't play football again. A number of his teammates have the number 54 on the back of their helmets in appreciation for a guy who was a beloved teammate, but gone for the rest of his career.
Thanks, Elliot. Coach Jeffries told me that it was one of the best hits he's ever seen in his life. And there you can see them honoring their fallen teammate. But he is at home, probably watching this football game. And I was told, though I didn't see it, it was a massive hit, so good pop. Here on the ball carry. He has wrestled down over a few bodies, got a few extra yards as he rolled over some guys. Let's go back to Toronto for a quick update.
The only witness to the disappearance of Bison Dele, his brother, Miles DeBoard, has died. Now, the FBI has learned that he left documents to be opened in the event of his death, and of course, the authorities are hoping that this will contain an account of exactly what happened on the boat the day of the disappearance.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. Pitch goes out wide. Pierre, Rohan Thompson in the backfield and doing a fantastic job.
Well, Coach Jeffries is not going to let McMaster drive the ball 92 yards on the previous drive and let them walk down here after they take the ball to 29. So he just sent the house on this one, sending both Rohan Thompson on the left side, and he had a safety blitz from the other side, David Agro coming in. So, you know, there was a lot of people coming into that backfield, and sometimes the more men you got, the better off you are. So it worked for the Laurier Golden Hawks.
There's a look at Rohan. That's not Rohan, that's Bregman. Rohan's in his 5th year. Coach Marshall trying to get his team up 7. 2nd down, goal to go from the 9-yard line. Play action again. Once again looking for Vaughn Swartz. Same pattern. And he can't come up with it. Got both hands on the ball, but when he came back to the ball, just juggled it.
That's right. And, you know, same pattern that we saw, you know, on the last touchdown. Here he is, pushing to the outside. I'm going deep. I'm going deep. No, guess what? I'm not. I'm coming back, and he's open. The ball's there. He just has to squeeze it. Maybe those gloves came into play on this one. He's got to maybe get another one, another pair of those, you know, construction guys' gloves coming in. Get some stick-em on there.
The old CFL Carpenter gloves. Mike Ray in to attempt a field goal. Give McMaster a lead. From 16 yards, and it is good. The Marauders take a 10-7 lead in the first quarter versus Laurier.
Where's Wendell? Oh, Wendell's coming my way anyway. Yeah, let's just move.
So Mike Ray makes good. He is now 8 of 11 on field goals, and coming into this game he was tied 7th and tied 1st in the OUA in scoring with 36 points, tied with his teammate Kyle Pierre. Let's go down to Elliot Friedman. Elliot, you got a guess?
You just mentioned Kyle Pierre. Well, here's his brother Ryan. The reason Jamie Partington's starting at quarterback today, you hurt your knee. What exactly is the prognosis for the future, Ryan?
Well, I tore my MCL and my ACL. The MCL is bad. It's only a 2nd degree, so it could be worse. The ACL is completely torn. I need surgery in probably 4 weeks. I got to wait for my MCL to heal first. And after that, it's 6 to 9 months rehab, so it's a long road ahead of me.
You know, it's tough to stand here and watch, but especially when you got your brother on the other sideline. What are the conflicting emotions in you today as you watch him run the ball pretty well?
Yeah, he's running hard right now. I mean, inside I feel like cheering for him, but can't do that. You just got to stay behind the Hawks the whole way, so that's what I'm doing.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Enjoy the rest of the game. Guys, back up to you.
Thanks a lot, Elliot. Mac calling a timeout here. We see Kyle Pierre, it was Ryan Pierre, and Tobin Pierre we saw in our first ever game of University Rush. Came up with a pickoff. Also talked to his dad, who sports a couple different hats every week.
That's right. You know, it must be tough for parents to be in that situation. You know, every week you have to switch hats. You have to travel from one place to the next. And I'll tell you what, they don't miss one game. I've seen them around for 4 years now, and they just never miss a game. So, you know, they make the trek from Belleville, and they make it happen for their 3 sons.
Quick hitter to Meltler. And once again, Mac is there to stuff it after a short game.
McMaster's got a tough front 7, and you know, you look all the way across from Mike Gow across to Colin Shanahan, Nick Blinder, Jeff Smith, the linebackers, you know, Marius and so on. These guys are going to make plays for the McMaster defense. If you keep running the ball, they're just going to come after you.
I was just going to say, you got to mix it up a little bit here.
That's right. You know, as we see the 3-pack going out to the far right.
You can see the total yards, 129 to 28. And Partington will pass. Looking to the flats, it's caught there. Derek Cox, but is short of the first down by a good margin.
A great hit here by John Chard to make sure that, you know, the Laurier Golden Hawks wouldn't get the first down. But as we take a look here, to the right-hand side. Nice ball delivery here by Partington, but there's nowhere for Derek Cox to go. He catches the ball and loses his feet, so unfortunately, not enough for a first down.
Maybe just a confidence booster. Get him a reception early and make him feel a little better.
That's right. As a quarterback, you got to get into a groove, and you complete one pass, then you start thinking that you can complete another, and then you move on. And momentum is big in football, so it's important for quarterbacks to feel comfortable and to complete a few balls like that.
Ed Becker into punt, and it's a great spiraling kick. That'll be taken by Chris Rankin at his 26-yard line, and he's got a seam. Couple blockers out in front of them across the 50 to the 51, and again McMaster will have good field position to start this drive on a 25-yard return by Chris Rankin.
That's right, great job by Chris Rankin. There was no second guessing about this one. He took the ball, and you'd have his man in front, Rick Andrade, and he just heads to the right side. It was a right-hand side return, and if he beats number 20 here, Brian Hickey, he's gone for a touchdown. But great job by the Notre Dame and Burlington High School grad, Brian Hickey, to come in for a tackle.
Football factory is that Notre Dame in Burlington, Ontario. A lot of ball players out of Burlington in this game. We'll talk a bit about that a little later. Play action again. Behe looks like he wants to run. Will set up, trying to get Swart, but he one-hops it to him.
And that's tough. I think that the Laurier Golden Hawks are going to start keying on that whenever John starts rolling out to the left-hand side. They're going to jump on that.
Well, Mac might be 4-0. We've got a couple close games in here. They needed a last-second field goal from Mike Ray to beat Queens, and of course, you saw it last week versus Western. What a great football game that was.
It certainly was. And the main thing about this, if you're on the McMaster side, you're happy because two things. One, you've won in close games, and you've come back from a deficit against Western. And two, you're still 4-0. So it doesn't really matter how close it was. You've proven two things. That's the main thing on the Mac side.
Second down along Behe will scramble and lower his shoulder. Looks like he did get first down yardage as our first quarter is coming to a close.
Big yardage here, and he gets popped by both Kevin McNeil and Lee Mangiacomo, from two linebackers from Laurier. But you know what? John's a tough guy, but his leg seems to be a little sore right about now, and down he goes. So we'll see a bit of Zaremba coming in now in this game.
So Behe stays down. We'll see if he got his leg caught in between. Just took a great pop from the two defenders.
That's right. Sometimes it's just the cleats get caught in your legs. You get a bad shin bruise or whatever it is. But the good thing is, McMaster's had two quarterbacks playing in these games since the beginning. So Mike Zaremba can come in, and he can make things happen for the Marauders.
So we'll see Mike Zaremba come into this game, but we see the ISO on McNeil, and he adjusts quickly and lays a lick on.
Now that's football right there. I mean, John was strong. He put his head forward, try to make something happen for his fellas, and here he is.
He got the first down. He's hobbling off, and in comes Mike Zaremba in his second year from Mississauga, Ontario. Thrown for 214 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, and played a little behind you. What can you tell us about Zaremba, Mike?
Well, Mike's got probably the strongest arm I've ever seen on a quarterback in these parts of town. He's a really strong player, really smart, and he can make things happen for the Marauders.
There's Rohan Thompson showing off his speed, pulling down Jesse Lumsden. But after 1 quarter of play, it's 10-7. McMaster leading the Laurier Golden Hawks.
You see the ice pack on the knee of John Behe, the starting quarterback for McMaster. At this point in time, it's too early to say whether or not he will be returning. They're going to take a look and see how he handles it over the beginning of this quarter before making that decision. Jesse Lumsden will be back. He's got the same neck problem that he bothered him last week against Western. He missed a couple days of practice this week, but he's okay and will return today, guys.
Thanks, Elliot. We can see that Jesse, despite the neck problem that he had earlier this week from the Western game, he rolled on that knee, and it looks like he's not putting any pressure on the leg right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That would be a big loss to the McMaster offense.
Certainly would be. Here he is getting tackled, and I think his legs get caught on. His left leg gets caught underneath. Both his knee and his ankle may have been hurt on that one. I'm sure we'll get more as Elliot looks for more information on the sidelines.
Back to passes, Zaremba out to the flats here, but Ian Logan is there to wrap him up, and then he gets some help from a host of Laurier defenders.
Great job at the Laurier Golden Hawks, but at the same time, Mike Zaremba completed his first pass today. Now I'm sure that he'll kind of get into a groove of the same thing as Jamie Partington did on the other side. As we take a look at Jesse here, and he seems really concerned, as any player would be at this point. Good thing is he's in good hands with the McMaster therapy staff.
So Jesse obviously in a lot of pain as Mike Ray comes on to punt. A big loss, as Jesse's a key component of this McMaster offense. And Mike Ray trying to angle it out of bounds. We'll watch the line judge walk it up, and 19-yard line, so he got it inside the 20.
Well, that's not a bad kick. I'm sure Mike was hoping to put it a little bit further down, close to the goal line, but at this point, they'll take whatever they can get.
All right, as we look at Jesse Lumsden, let's send it back to Caroline Frolick in the Score Studios.
Thanks, Tim. Well, as the Avalanche and Canadians do battle in Quebec City tonight, Peter Forsberg said he's looking forward to this homecoming of sorts.
It is a little special. I think everybody was kind of sad to leave, and everybody kind of liked it up here. And you know, I haven't been back since we got sold, so it's a great feeling coming back.
Jamie Partington will hand the ball off again, and it's Medler again, and he's up to around the 24-yard line.
A little bit better on the first down play here. He got at least 5 yards, so it looks like it. Better than the 1 yard that they've been getting in the last few drives. It will take a lot of pressure off Partington.
Medler, as we mentioned in the opening, third in the CIS, second in the OUA in rushing. Set the Laurier rushing mark last week against Toronto, 251 yards on 27 attempts as they continue to work on Jesse Lumsden, the running back on the other side of the football. This time they're going to pitch it out, fumble, but he picks it back up, but Ray Marius is there to stack Medler up and push it back for a loss.
You know, Ray Marius is right there, and there's something you can't do anything about. If you don't have the ball in your hands, you can't do anything about it. Here's the flow from the linebacker's point of view. Ball's down. There's 44 Ray Marius. Help by Jeff Smith, and then the whole bunch of McMaster Marauders coming in and jumping on top of that football.
Well, with some injuries to the offense, the McMaster defense might have to step up a wee bit here, Ben.
They certainly will have to, and there's one thing that our defense, I say our because in the past they've done the same, and you know, the McMaster defense is always ready to step up for their offense. Coach Sardo has done a great job preparing them from week in and week out, and if the offense needs a little pep, I'm sure that the defense will be there to help them out.
Ed Becker in the punt leads the OUA in punting. He gets off a beauty here. Rankin will take it in though, and he's got some blockers in front of him. We've got flags down on the field, and it looks as though we're going to get a block in the back.
Yeah, it'll be a block. A call of that sort. That's for sure. Bringing the Marauders back across midfield. Jay Pottinger looked like he may have blocked someone from behind, and you don't. There it is. There's the call. So the ball is moving back a little bit, giving the Marauders, not a bad spot to start with because they are on their 53-yard line, but not as great as they've had in the last couple of drives.
So Mike Zaremba jogs back onto the field for the McMaster Marauders, and now we've got Zaremba and Kyle Peer as the lone running back as we speak. Morgan Thomas in at the fullback spot. Play action. Zaremba over the middle, looking for Vaughn Swart, but threw it a wee bit behind him.
Yeah, just a little bit behind. And there's one thing that quarterbacks are taught, on a daily basis, is throw to the spot where the receiver will be, not where he is at this point. Because obviously the receiver is in motion. He'll be moving from one spot to the next. So as we take a look at Mike Zaremba here, as a backup quarterback, it's tough because you're always one play away from being in, and it's a tough situation to be in.
So McMaster has second down, 10 to go from their own 53-yard line. Another sprint out. Zaremba, lovely ball tipped, and Vaughn Swart is still able to make the reception. He is wrestled down.
Talk about concentration by a receiver on that ball. Vaughn Swart running that same comeback pattern that we saw him run earlier on the left-hand side. Now he's aligned to the right side of the formation. Here's Zaremba rolling out to the right with great protection up front, sets himself up and throws a strike, tipped here at the front by Ian Logan, number 16. but Vaughn keeps his hands together and just reels that ball in for a first down.
Ian Logan's already got 2 interceptions on the year and thought he might have another one. Just got the paw up there, but Vaughn Swart, that's why they do the tip drill in practice every day.
That's right.
So Zaremba. Oh, missed assignment. He coughs up the football, and his fullback who just got in there for Jesse Lumsden. Actually, a couple guys missed a block, and there was a free shot on Zaremba.
Yeah, no, there definitely was a mix-up in the backfield there, whether it was Morgan Thomas or Mike Zaremba who made the mishap. You know, the main thing is, as we take a look at the play here, Mike turns around, he realizes there's no one there. Both linebackers, McNeil and Lee Magicomo 40, comes in, and they both make a big hit on the quarterback. So
big turnover for the McMaster Marauders as Jamie Partington comes out. Matt Kruchik fell on the football for the Golden Hawks, and Partington will get another shot. This time some good field position. Their own 49-yard line. 2 setbacks. Medler the deep back, and he will get it again. Tuffy Knight, he's got some room. Kwame Adu trying to wrap him up, and that's some positive yardage on first down. They're not going to stop running the football.
You know what? Tuffy Knight has done that at Waterloo for years. He's done it here with the Laurier Golden Hawks, and he will keep doing it.
Let's go down to Elliot Friedman. Elliot, you got another thing for us?
Yeah, Tim, when it comes to Jesse Lumsden, right now they are calling a sprain, and they are going to reassess the situation at halftime. But at this point in time, all they're saying is that it's a sprain. Tim?
Thank you very much, Elliot. So initial news is good on Jesse that it's just a sprain. I'm sure his father, Neil Lumsden, who works with us at the Score, will be happy to hear that. Not a bad football player either. Kwame Adu jumped that, and I don't know how it happened, but Joel Wright came up with the football as it looked like Kwame Adu was going to do what he did last week, jump a quick hitch and go the other way.
That's right. Kwame used to do that in practice all the time. He'll make you think that he's dropping back, but he'll jump right in front of it, and then it just bounced off his foot. The ball simply just bounced off his left cleat right into the hands of Joel Wright.
So Joel Wright gets the reception, 6 yards on the play. And Laurier's moving the football. Second down and short, Medler, but you can kind of see that coming. And obviously, the Marauders side.
That's right. Coach Sardo, the defensive coordinator here for the Marauders, had John Chard, number 35, the safety, blitzing from the short side of the field. And he was right there waiting for Medler, opening his arms. Here he is from the right-hand side, around the formation. Jeff Smith, number 33, with the big hit. And once again, a group of Marauder tacklers coming in. So they're really aggressive to the ball, and they won't let their teammates down. So they really work hard at making sure that tackles are made by a group.
Coach just talks about the fact that with Manny Furtado out of the lineup, that in passing situations and second down situations, they will move John Chard into a linebacker spot.
So John is athletic enough and strong enough to play a little bit of a strong side linebacker, and that's what he was on this last play.
Well, there's the experience of Ed Becker pitting the Marauders deep in their own zone with that punt. It'll be McMaster first and 10 to go from their own 6-yard line. We'll be back with plenty more on the Score Television Network. With John Behe on the sideline, second-year man. Mike Zaremba will hand the ball off to Kyle Peer for a short gain.
Well, we talked about Kyle Peer touching the ball a fair bit this afternoon. Well, now that John Behe's out, now that Jesse Lumsden's out, you can be certain that Kyle Peer, Vaughn Swart, and Chris Rankin will have to step up and make things happen for the offense.
So it'll be second down and about 5 to go for the McMaster offense as we look at Kyle Peer.
Talk about a guy who's cool and collected in the huddle.
Focused on what has to be done. Zaremba under center. Second down, 5 to go with just under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Pierre looks as though he lost his balance, and he is up to the 20-yard line, and that'll be a first down for Mac.
Now, once again, the experience of Kyle Peer coming in. There was a big Matt O'Meara, number 67, pulling around on this play, but Kyle just decided to just put his head down and move forwards to make sure that he was going to get the first down. He could have probably tried to string it, but main thing is first downs are important.
With Mike Zaremba in at quarterback, we now have another brother combination. We talked about the Peers, but Andy Zaremba, the left guard, number 65, who isn't in the game right now, are brothers, of course, and he came back from a scholarship down south to play with his brother and protect his brother. And we'll see him doing that throughout the game. Vaughn swore with a catch and got caught in the face mask, but no flag down.
No, I guess it wasn't intentional. I guess both players were going for the ball. Here's Mike dropping back, looking to his right. A little delay route underneath by Vaughn as Ian Logan grabs a little bit of the face mask, but you know, Vaughn hung onto the ball and moved forwards to make it, you know, a couple inches before making it to first down.
Well, second down and short, and how does the game plan change with these losses to the MAC offense?
Well, you know, Jesse Lumsden is a speedster, and you usually like to have him run the ball to the outside. Not that Kyle Pierre can't do it, but you know, usually you try to keep with people's strengths, and with Jesse, Coach Marshall was able to spring the ball around to the outside or go inside with Kyle Pierre. Now Pierre is stuck doing both jobs.
Looks like we're marching McMaster, back with a procedure call.
Offense, repeat second down.
And there it is. So instead of second and short, it is now second down, 6 to go.
Now that's something that will make the blood in Coach Marshall's body, bobble up a little bit. If there's one thing you don't want to see is have, you know, a man offside or in a procedure situation when you're close to your end zone like that in your own 25-yard line.
Now we see Conrad Kloge running in with the play. Does Marshall like to send in the guy every time to call the plays?
Yes, he used to like to do that, keeping control over the play calling. He never really liked to leave it up to his quarterbacks. Understandably so.
Here is hit very hard on the completion. It's enough for a first down. He hangs on to the football as Ryan Brown comes in and lays a stick on him.
Now that's football. You know, here's Mike Zaremba dropping back, 5-step drop, and hits Kyle Pierre on a square out pattern to the flat. Big pop, but Kyle Pierre hangs on to the ball, and that was a great play by Ryan Brown, who's back in the game now after his thumb injury. I guess he's fine to play. Great job.
Kyle Pierre, just one fumble on the year. He's not gonna let go of that football very often. Zaremba. Lone setback is Pierre, and he's gonna see a lot of the football and a lot of green pastures as he's up to the 51 of Laurier.
A great run by Kyle Pierre, but again, the big runs are possible because of blocks at the front, at the point of attack. Here's Kyle, and you'll see 32 and 25 blocking people, Morgan Thomas and John Donnelly, and here's Kyle making plays downfield. Great job once again by Ryan Brown to come in and save the tackle. Huge block at the point of attack right here, and Kyle just turns upfield, and that lace always gets in the way.
Shoestring tackle, and we have a man down on the Laurier side of things. David Agro is down. That would be a big loss for the Laurier defense.
David Agro is obviously the most experienced player in the backfield for the defensive backfield for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Moved from the halfback position in the last 3 or 4 years. Now plays safety, replacing Kevin Taylor from last year. Now Neil Booth, comes in, number 19, to play that position.
You saw Kyle Pierce's statistics on the day, and you can only expect him to see a lot of the football. And once again, he will up the gut this time, and boy, it's a nice luxury to have when you can run right up the middle and gain about 7 yards on first down.
It certainly is, and that tells you two things. One, you have confidence in running back that he can make things happen, but mainly that your offensive line is controlling the point of attack, which is obviously, at this point, in between the two tackles.
So we've seen Pierre take pitches outside, running between the tackles, seen him catch the football. Yeah, folks, he's a complete package.
He certainly is, and you know, he's calm. He's always cheering people up on the sidelines. He's probably the best team player that you want to have around your team on an offensive point of view. That's for sure.
So it's 6:30 remaining in the second quarter. It's second down and 3 to go, 7-yard game. Let's send it back to the studio for an update from our own Caroline Frolic.
Thanks, Tim. Well, Tiger Woods had some issues at the Belfry yesterday, but this morning he was in fine form. He was a winner in the morning foursome matches, and he and Davis Love III defeat Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn 4 and 3.
Well, there is David Agro returning to the lineup for Laurier Golden Hawks, and that is good news for any Golden Hawk fans is Pierre takes it outside. He'll be close to first down yardage. And indeed it is a first down.
And once again, nice run by Kyle Pierre. This time to the left point, the left side of the O-line. Here he is, taking the ball, and great job by number 25 here, John Donnelly, to make sure that Rohan Thompson wasn't going to make a play on that. You know, and if you're the Laurier defense right now, you're a little concerned that the McMaster offense can keep running like that on you.
Well, Coach Marshall saw what you saw. He gave Donnelly a little pat on the back for that block. And once again, inside handoff to Pierre once again. And kind of feels good as a quarterback, though, to be able to move down the field, get some confidence as you march your team downfield, just hand the football off.
It certainly is. You know, it's good for confidence. I know myself as a quarterback, I'd rather be throwing the ball, but when you can keep handing the ball off like that, it means things are going well for your offense. So as a team player, you're happy. You're going to keep calling the plays that way. You're going to keep doing what your coach is asking you to do.
Second down and 7 for the Marauders inside the Laurier 40. Zaremba back to pass. He's got plenty of time, and he will look to Vaughn Swart. It is complete inside the 25-yard line of Laurier.
There's that comeback pattern once again for the MAC offense. Mike Zaremba's rolling out to his left. Here he is. Oh, a little bit of a fumble here on the snap, but great job to get it back. As you take a look at Vaughn coming back towards the sideline, nobody else can make a play on that. The only player that can touch that ball is Vaughn Swart, and that's all you can expect from your receivers. Reel it in, catch it for a first down.
So Vaughn Swart already racking up the yardage for the McMaster Marauders, who now have a first down, 10 to go from the Laurier 21. They send Donnelly in motion. They'll run behind him. Pierre breaks a couple tackles and does a good job just to get a couple yards.
That's right. And, you know, it's funny you mentioned Donnelly in motion. John Donnelly has played probably 4 or 5 different positions on this offense. He's played some tight end. He's played some slot back. He's played some fullback in this last few series. And, you know, he's played some offensive guard. He's done a little bit of everything, but mainly he's a big athletic player who can make things happen on an offense. And, you know, wherever you can use him, you try to involve him in making things happen for the MAC Marauders.
Second down, 6 to go for the Marauders. Leading 10-7 in the second quarter. Zaremba back to pass, looking for Pierre, who adjusts to the football, and that should be good for another first down.
You know what? Talk about athletic plays. Kyle Pierre just made a huge catch right here to keep his offense moving towards the goal line. Now, he looks a little tired at this point, but here he is moving out of the backfield to the left. Quick drop back by Zaremba, 1, 2, 3 steps. And then Kyle Pierre just extending back to his right side. Unbelievable play. Here he is coming out in motion. It certainly is. There's nothing harder than moving away from the momentum that your body is already in motion with.
First down, 10 to go from the Laurier 11. Kyle Pierre touching the football. Pierre is in for the score. Touchdown, Marauders, and Kyle Pierre should get full credit for what he did on that drive.
You know what, Tim? I got to agree with you. You know, Kyle Pierre was mentioned at least once on every single play along this drive. And I'm sure that the next thing he'll do is go down to the sidelines, take a breather, and thank his big men up front who have been opening holes all day for him. So great job both by Kyle Pierre and by the offensive line on McMaster's side.
Got oxygen here at McMaster sidelines.
Oh, they certainly have used it in the past, so I'm sure that they're going to need it for Kyle here.
He doesn't want to talk to anybody, just over by the oxygen. Mike Gray puts the convert through. He remains perfect on the year on converts. So it's 17-7. McMaster in the second quarter. University Rush and the Score Television Network. Welcome back to Les Prince Field here in Hamilton, Ontario, and there's one tired camper. 9 plays, 103 yards, and Pierre caps it off.
That's right, Kyle Pierre with the 10-yard run for a touchdown. He looks a little bit tired, and you know that's okay because you have guys like number 21 here, Rick Andrade, who will be ready to step up if Kyle needs a breather, as Kojo Edu in his golf shirt looking good on the sidelines.
Well, we talked about 2 guys having to step up, Swart and Pierre. They have Pierre 15 rushes, 117 yards, a touchdown. Swart 6 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. As we've got some room on the return, Jeff Keane who averages 18 on a kickoff return. He gets it up across the 35-yard line.
That's right, and who else? Mike Ray, the kicker, comes in to save the day. Here's Jeff Keane taking the ball on the big return. And he had some moves. He had some room up front, making some moves, big blocks. Everything's going well. Then he gets stopped here by number 20, Mike Ray, the kicker, on the big tackle.
A 29-yard return by Jeff Keane will give Jamie Partington and the Laurier offense some room to work with. Partington, quick hitter again. Medler up the gut. He is met once again by a host of Marauder tacklers, including Colin Shanahan and Mike Botterill.
That's right, Mike Botterill, Jeff Smith, Colin Shanahan. And I think that's the main thing about the McMaster defense. When you talk about a McMaster defender making a tackle, you always have to mention 2 or 3 other guys with them, because they always make sure that they run to the ball and that they get to that point where the running back is waiting and try to jump on top to pile on.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Laurier offense should be fresh. Long drive as we hit the 3-minute mark of the first half. Partington got 2 men behind him. Medler, the deep back. They run a little counter. Thought I heard a flag out there, but Medler runs for a first down, and that's exactly what Laurier has. First down, close to midfield.
That's right, nice run here. Nice little counter action by the Laurier offense. Here you see it from the backfield, number 36, Derek Medler taking the ball. Huge hole again in that O-line. Great job opening those holes by the big fellas up front.
Thought I heard that great kazoo horn they used to have when I played high school football.
They've pulled that out of the yeah, part of the history now.
Oh, that was fun. All right, Medler up the middle, and you can see his cutback abilities there. Ducking, diving, getting some positive yardage. In fact, 5 yards on that carry.
That's right. He almost bounces back and forth like Barry Sanders used to do. You know, here he is taking the ball. There's no much going on. Left, right. Oh, here he is, keeping his feet, moving forward. And then again, you know, the McMaster defense there to make sure he doesn't get more than 5 yards at a time.
So Laurier's second down, 5 to go from the McMaster 51-yard line. Medler, you can see, a little fatigued there. Partington will hand the ball off to him again, and he stretches and will have the first down for Laurier. Moving the ball late in this first half.
That's it, and you know what? It's important for the offense to come in like this after a long drive from McMaster, to come in and show that they can do this. You know, they've gotten the rest, they're ready to go, and Derek Medler's moving the ball forward for first downs.
Well, we expected a lot of running in this football game, and we're seeing it on both sides.
So much for being a receiver today, I guess.
Partington, Medler marching this Laurier offense down the field, and Partington will pass, looking for the fly pattern. Kwame Adu on the coverage, and the 2 number 1s going hard.
You know what? I've seen this coverage number 1 on number 1 for years. Today against Joel Wright, Kwame Adu number 1. In the past, Andre Talbot, who's now with the Toronto Argonauts, we're battling back and forth. So here it is, step for step. Kwame's right there. You know what? That ball hit Joel Wright right in the face mask. You know, it was possible for him to catch. Maybe the sun coming in on that angle could have been the problem.
So Joel Wright, who had 17 receptions on the year, coming in 14th in the CIS, and we've got flags down as Medler. He's got some room on his feet, and he is inside. We'll have to wait on the flags, but for now we have a signal for touchdown Laurier. But judging by the reaction of Jamie Partington standing there, and you can see him on our screen right now, that one's coming back. No, it's not. Touchdown Laurier as the flag is on McMaster, and we talked about it. Medler
Applying touchdown.
going for the long touchdown. We've got ourselves a football game.
That's right. The flag was for a procedure on McMaster, but Derek Medler just takes the ball, keeps his footing right here. Great athletic move, and then just turns it up, turns the Jets on, and runs away from both Josh Armstrong and Mike Botterill. Great job by the Laurier offense.
So some breakaway speed shown there by Derek Medler as he finally breaks a long one. That's what Tuffy Knight will say to you. You run it, you run it, you run it, you're going to break one.
That's right.
So we got a close game, 17-14 with moments remaining in the first half.
Freeze, the head coach of Wilfrid Laurier, acting for Rick Mitch, who's away on a support staff strike. We are at the half. It is McMaster at homecoming leading Wilfrid Laurier 24-14 here on University Rush on The Score.
Coaches